Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala ali wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdadan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ameen. Wa ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, you are watching the last lesson for part 3. This is lesson 9, and inshallah in this lesson we will be concluding this part and looking at stopping at the end of words. Some of these rulings we have looked at in the previous videos. Some terminology will be new, but inshallah will be discussed more in detail in the next part. We'll be looking at words ending with tanween fatha and how to read that, words ending with ta marbuta, words ending with any haraka other than tanween fatha, and then we'll look at words ending with a mushaddad letter, meaning a letter with a shadda, and words ending with sakin letter or with mad letter. So this is how we will stop on these words. So we look at words ending with tanween fatha, changed into fatha on the last letter, and when we add the mad alif, we read the mad alif. If you don't remember, in the video we discussed the tanween. We looked at the rule of mad iwad, which is the replacement mad. And we said every time, if you notice, whenever there is a fatha tanween, there is an alif mad next to it. So the way we read this is by removing one fatha and replacing it with the alif mad. So this will be read as hisaban, will be read as hisaba when we stop. Atraban will be read as atraba. Ma'an will be read as ma'a, and so on, inshallah. Words ending with ta marbuta. This is the ta marbuta. This is meaning marbuta, meaning the closed ta, changed into ha sakina, no matter which haraka is on the ta marbuta. So when you continue reading, this is a ta, you would read it as a ta, this letter at the end. But when you stop, this becomes a ha. Okay, and this is something, if you haven't noted, please note. So this, if you're reading and not stopping, then you would read this as khashi'atun. But if you stop, this is khashi'ah. Al-hafirati, al-hafirah. Nakhiratan, nakhirah. If you notice here, there is a tanween fatha on this ta marbuta, and the way I read it was nakhirah, and I read it as a ha. Mad iwad does not apply to ta marbuta. This is the exception. It does not apply to ta marbuta. This will always be a ha, read as a ha when you stop on this ta marbuta. The next one is words ending with any haraka other than tanween fatha, changed into sukoon on the last letter. And this is what is commonly known, that when we stop on a word, we have to put a sukoon. Okay, this is the common rule. But for example, when there was a ta marbuta, we had to change it to a ha. And when in the case of tanween fatha, we don't put a sukoon, we have to read one of the fatha, and we have to do the alif mad also. In the case of all of the others, words ending with any haraka other than tanween fatha, changed into sukoon on the last letter. So we read this saya'lamuna as saya'lamun, ta'amihi, ta'amah, Kareemin, Kareem, Sijjinun, Sijjin, As-sama'u, As-sama'. Words ending with a mushaddad letter, and this is a letter with a shadda. Start from here. If the letter is a qalqala letter, and we haven't covered qalqala, qalqala meaning it means a bounce or an echo on the letter. There is a natural bounce when we say these letters with a sukoon. So when we say aqo, so iqo, Aqa, there's a bounce. Ata, ab, ej, ed. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal are letters of qalqala, and we will look at them in more detail in the next part. So if we stop on a letter which is a qalqala letter and it also has a shadda, we will stop with a strong qalqala, and this is the strongest qalqala, the strongest bounce. So the way we read this will be wal hajj, and obviously this is when we're stopping. Wal hajji is when you continue. Wal hajji, continuing. And when you stop, wal hajj, like this. So you hold it and then you release it with a bounce. But more of this inshallah in the next part when we study qalqala. If the letter is mim or noon mushaddad, stop with no haraka and make ghunna for 2 beats. Now this is also another tajweed rule. When noon and mim are mushaddad, meaning when they have a shadda, we have to prolong it or make a ghunna of 2 beats. Generally when there is a shadda on a letter, we just double it. Shadda meaning double. We just double the letter, first one with a sukoon and then second one with whichever haraka. But in the case of the noon and mim, we have to do a ghunna of 2 beats. So when you are stopping on a noon or mim, when they have a shadda, you will continue with the ghunna. So for example, you will read this as La tus'alun. Okay, so I've done the ghunna. Because I'm stopping, I won't use the haraka, I'll put a sukoon, but I will continue with the ghunna. La tus'alun, like this. If the letter is any letter other than noon or mim or the qalqala letters, so apart from these letters, these 5, qa, taf, ba, jim, dal, and noon and mim, so apart from them, stop with a sukoon on both identical letters with a small jerk in the reader's voice. So if any of the other letters has a shadda and we are stopping on it, we will put a sukoon, but we will also make a little jerky sound, which is called nabr. So for example, I will read this as adu. So we can tell that there are 2 waw here. So to tell the listener that there are 2 waw, so you can hear the other waw. For example, when we read Iyaka, Iyaka na'budu, Iyaka. So the first we're doing nabr. So we are adding a bit of an accent, a sound, so you can hear, the reader hears that there is 2 ya. Iyaka, Iya, Iyaka. And also here, for example, when I said as-sama, you hear the hamza at the end. If I say as-sama, where's the hamza? You can't hear it. You have to do nabr. You have to hear the sound of the last letter. As-sama. Now you can hear the hamza. And we have to make it clear by making nabr. Alhamdulillah. So here at the end, we have words ending with sakin letter. So how to read words ending with the letter with a sukoon on, or mad letter, or stopping on a word with a mad letter. And if you remember, we done a whole there's a whole video I did on the mad letters. So if you haven't watched it, or you have forgotten, or you can't remember what mad letters are, you can watch that video again to remind yourself, inshallah. So alif, waw, and ya. Alif preceded by the fatha, and if you remember, again a good recap. Alif, this is the only true alif. Alif mad. This is the only one we can call alif. The other one we see is hamza or hamzatul wasl. This is a waw, and ya, waw preceded by a dhamma, it will be empty, and will be preceded by a dhamma, and ya will be empty preceded by a kasra. And those are the mad letters. And alif will be preceded by a fatha. Wanhar, فكبر, وعصى, no change. وقال, these are all no change. They will stay the same when you stop on them or if you continue. ربه, stop with ha, ha gets the sukoon. Rabbahu will become Rabbah. This is qalqala again, the qalqala letter. Yulad. Yulad. Stop with qalqala. Yulad. The extra mud sign at the end of the word, the reader stops on it, ignoring this mud sign, and make a normal mud for 2 beats. So this in reality will be a 4 or 5 haraka long mud, but when we stop on this, we will read it as 2 and we make it mad tabi'i. Inni will become inni, and that's it. Alhamdulillah. Insha'Allah, we will meet next time starting part 4. So until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.